Hello, book lovers. I'm Peg, the book prize addict, and I have got a lot of exciting book prize news for you today. So let's just get started. Okay, I'm going to have to report on several during one video because they're stacking up on me. Okay, first of all, the big news is the book or the prize, the Republic of Consciousness Prize, declared a winner this week. Now, this is a prize started by our own booktuber Neil Griffith, booktuber and author, I should say, and I believe this is maybe the second year of it, but I've really heard a lot more about it this year than I did before, so hopefully it's growing. It, as I said, it's for small presses, and it's given us all plenty of time to read them. There was a long list, I think, back before the end of last year, and then a short list. But anyway, the winner was A Trib by Ellie Williams, and the small press was the Influx Press. I know they're delighted to have won this, it looked like I was able to see some of the pictures taken there on Twitter, I guess, and it looked like a good time was had by all. This is a book that I think probably has a better consensus of opinion than any book prize winner ever, because everybody, at least that I heard talk about it, thought this was a fantastic book. It is short stories, and there's been several reviews here, and several people I think are planning to read it now. It's a debut collection of short stories, and as I think somebody put it, it makes you look at normal everyday things differently after you've read some of these. One of the critics, or one of the judges, said that Ellie Williams centers upon the difficulties of communication and the way in which one's thoughts may never be fully communicable and yet can overwhelm. And I found when I read it, the more times I read each story, the better it got. There was just so much about wordplay and noticing the words and how it was written. And actually, I think Sean the Baylor even liked this, or maybe he's getting ready to read it. I don't know, one of those, but I think he will. Okay, so that one is over until next year, but you can still read them all, I'm sure. And I think it's really helped all the small presses that were on at least the short list to get more well known on this. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about, is this week the Wellcome Prize, narrowed down to the short list. Now, the Wellcome Prize is a put on by the Wellcome Trust, and they have a collection, and there's also Wellcome Collection, and that is they sponsor a free museum and library in London that connects health, art, and life. Sounds like that would be interesting to go to. Have any of you Londoners out there gone to this? Anyway, and these books, they can be open to any genre, but have a central theme that engages aspects of medicine, health, and fitness. I believe there's several booktubers that are trying to read through the long list. I remember seeing that somewhere, so shout out if you're one of those. I'd like to follow you on those. Okay, the ones, this is not too helpful, but rather than do them separately, I put up the ones that are left on the short list, and I'll just talk about a few of them. Stay With Me is the only fiction that's left on the list, and it's been talked about quite a bit. It was on several prize lists about a Muslim couple that she couldn't get pregnant, and he decided to take a second wife, and I think the medical aspect was the fertility problem. It's been, as I said, people have read a lot of that in the other list. And the other one I'm interested in reading, well, they all look good actually, is Mayhem a memoir, and this is supposedly a memoir about addiction and its effect on the family. And this is free in the Audible book, or not free, but if you're a member of Scribd. So I'll be listening to that on the Audible soon. Okay. I will show you one more. The one called The Butchering Art has quite a garish cover. I don't know if you can see it. Looks like a Victorian operating room there. And I'm sure that has some interesting and gory information. Okay, so now we're getting on to the main prize I want to talk about. And that's the Kitchies that have just been announced this week. And I have to tell you, this is my second favorite speculative fiction prize. My first favorite will be coming out any day now, or parts of it. It comes into is the Clark Award, and I'll be talking at length about that later. But I like the Kitchies a lot because they're not really about science fiction. I know a lot of science fiction tends to turn off a lot of literary fiction readers. And here's the Kitchies are sponsored by Blackwell's book sellers, and they are looking for the most progressive, intelligent, and entertaining fiction that contains elements of speculative or fantastic elements. So it's really, you can't, and of the books I've read, actually they didn't have the prize last year, but I read the year before that. They don't really have any what you would call hard science fiction. It's more literary type fiction books with either a fantasy element, tweak, or a speculative turn in it, and as part of the story. So anyway, I really enjoy the ones that they've chosen, and they aren't ones that you hear about, that I've heard about in any of the actual science fiction prizes. So they're kind of a special mixture there. Okay, they have 4 different prizes that they give, and they're called tentacles. I don't know if you can see that. That's in like octopus tentacles. I'm not sure where they got that theme, and the prizes are hand-carved trophies of the tentacles, plus some money, I think. Okay, and the different prizes, the red tentacle is for the best novel that fulfills this theme. The golden tentacle is for the debut novel, and the inky tentacle, this one here, is for the best cover art, and the black tentacle is just for one person, one author who they decide they want to honor that year. I don't think that's been picked this year, or maybe they'll do it later. I don't know. But I really was interested in the best novel, and I got all those last night, at least downloaded a sample, and I'm not going to talk about that today because I'm going to read some of them, and I'll talk about them more as I read them. But I think I will show you the what's called the Inky Tentacle shortlist, and that's for best cover art. And there's also some really good books on this that I would like to read. So this is, I've kind of got a mishmash here, but I will find them. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So the first one, and this is, as I said, for the cover art, and I mean, I assume they're not going to pick a terrible book, but anyway, the first one is The Land of Never Endings. This is a children's books, or maybe middle grade. Anyway, and it was the winner of the Costa Children's Book Award. And that's really a cool cover. I love those colors. It, I think, deals with, it seems to sound, it might be quite spooky. A girl, her sister dies and is buried with her teddy bear, I think. Anyway, and she misses the teddy bear more than well, not really, but anyway, she misses the teddy bear, and there's some sort of cross of toys coming alive and haunting her in the night. And actually, I might try to read it. I haven't read any children's books for a long time. Sounds kind of spooky. Okay, next we have, okay, this one is called The Black Wave by Michelle Teague. Now, this is also on the Best Novel Award in this, which I'll be talking about really soon because I started reading this last night and it is fantastic. It's about a young gay woman in San Francisco in the 1990s, and she's a drug addict, and it starts out with the scene of her life there. Whew. This old lady's learning a lot. Anyway, and from what I've read, she decides to try to break her drug habit and moves to Los Angeles, which is much different than San Francisco. And then there is a dystopian element or something that comes there. The world is going to be destroyed in a year or something. So I am really enjoying the writing on this one, and luckily I got it electronically from my library. Now, this is the English cover, the one that got, that's up for the prize for the cover. The American cover is not too good. But anyway, okay, next. Now, we're still on covers. Now, this one, I'm not sure which cover is up for the prize, but it's The History of Bees. And this has to do with 3 different generations of beekeepers in, I think, England, the U.S., and where else? China. And, there is a problem with bees disappearing. So I think it goes into that element of it. Now, I have 2 covers here, and I'm not sure which one is up for the award for cover. That's one of them. And here's the other. I don't know. I think this is certainly more striking, but who knows? I don't know. They were both on Amazon UK, so you can't say one's of one country. Anyway, so let's see. Okay, next we have The Real Town Murders by Adam Roberts. Adam Roberts has been on this list before. He's a writer that, again, you can't say it's science fiction, but it has speculative elements, and it's quite literary, his writings. So I'd really like to read this. It deals with a woman private detective in near-future England. And, last, real strange one. It's called Our Memory Like Dust. And this was free on, if you're a member of Kindle, what is it, Kindle Unlimited? Anyway. So I downloaded the whole thing last night, started reading it. I don't know what it's about. I need to read more. It deals with the future and African crises in Africa and the desert, and the dust has a lot to do with it, dealing with things that are imperfect, fragile, and ephemeral. And I need to read this before I talk about this one anymore. So anyway, if you're have read any of these or know anything about them or have any comments at all, please comment in the box below. And I just may be back sooner than you think, because there's still some book prize news I need to talk about. Okay, see you soon. Bye.